So 3 days ago, I walked into Old Style Guitar Shop here in Los Angeles, and I may or may not have found one of my new favorite guitars. Now, I've been after a rubber bridge guitar, which is what is in here, for quite some time, and I've been in and out of that shop over the last 2 or 3 years, and I've played a lot of different iterations of them. You know, they have baritone ones, they have electric versions, parlor-sized guitars, full-size guitars, resonators, like every different iteration of a guitar you can think of, they've pretty much put it through the ringer and made it into a fantastic sounding rubber bridge guitar. This one here, and there's a great story behind how I obtained this, is a 1950 something, I think 53 or 54 is the consensus that we kind of landed on. Came with a case, which is great. Yeah, here we have a 1950 something Roy Rogers parlor guitar, and there's so many little hidden quirks and gems in this guitar that make it sound so special, and which is part of the reason it chose me. It was like adopting a dog or a cat. You know, they always say like animals choose you. This thing freaking chose me. So just a quick overview of some of the features on this guitar. First thing you might notice is this really cool artwork that was like probably spray painted on with a stencil back in the 50s. You know, we have like a cowboy, this is Roy Rogers, we got some mountains, this beautiful horse, some trees, right? Very cowboy-esque. And we also have the cowboy himself on the headstock. We gotta love it. All right, you can see where the old bridge used to be right here, right? You can see the paint is like a little thinner and the screws where the bridge was held in place. Now, when they set these up for the rubber bridge, obviously we have the rubber bridge, Exhibit A. We also have a little pickup installed here just by, you can see kind of just cutting right through that wood here to install it. We have a floating bridge, flat wound strings, some fretwork has been done to it so it plays really well. That's honestly the biggest thing with this guitar, is it plays really freaking well, and all of these rubber bridge guitars play really well. And it's very hard. I don't know if you've ever played an old freaking guitar like this, but these guitars are not easy to play usually. They usually feel quite shit. We've just done a really good job at making it feel and play awesome. Hidden little feature here, we have two outputs. One is for the electric pickup. The other is actually for the piezo pickup that is hidden within this rubber bridge here. And super cool tonal possibilities here. I had just actually set up both my amps on either side of the room. I had the electric pickup going out into my Benson Nathaniel Jr., and then I had my piezo pickup going into my Fender Twin, and through the electric pickup I just ran a bunch of effects, but like tremolo, delay, reverb, some overdrive. So you have this really crazy affected tone, and then I had the clean piezo sound, which picks up like every little movement you make and all the little sounds of the player, and it was fucking awesome. It was fucking awesome. You'll hear it later in this video what that sounds like. The other special thing about this guitar is just acoustically, just playing this guitar mic'd is also just its own sound too. So you really have three different sounds, right? You have the piezo, you have the acoustic, and you have the pickup sound, and all sound very freaking unique, which is why this guitar is such a masterpiece in my eyes. Now, funny story how I actually got this guitar. I did not intend on buying a guitar. Like, no one really ever goes into a store being like, I'm gonna buy this guitar right now, right? So I walked into Old Style with, you know, rubber bridge in mind. I was like, it would be nice to find one. I've been on the hunt for a couple years now. I just haven't found the right one. It's like buying a guitar is like finding like a partner, you know what I mean? Like, if your first kiss is either gonna be like, let's make out and go back to my house, or it's like, well, that was nice, I'm good to go now, right? And this guitar was like a absolute just freaking make out right to my house, right to the bedroom. It was like instant wow. Like, it feels right. This is a terrible analogy. It's gone on for way too long. But so I walked into Old Style. There were a couple. They had like a baritone, a 12-string electric, which was really cool, 2 or 3 parlor-sized guitars, and then like one, you know, full-size guitar. All these are rubber bridges. And I was playing one that looked very similar to this. It was just in an all-natural finish, and some of the decals have been kind of worn off. And it played fine. Like, it was cool and it sounded good, but I wasn't like, wow, this is it. Like, let's make out. You know what I mean? And there was another woman at the shop who was playing this, and she was like kind of playing like in the corner of the shop, And I just started talking to her. I was like, oh, like, you know, are you after a guitar? And she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy one of these. I think I'm going to buy this one. She's like, you want to try it? I was like, oh, sure, I'd love to. So we swapped. I swapped her the natural finish one. She handed me this. And it was like instant, like, I played like an E chord or something. I immediately knew that this had to be mine. I had to have it. But she had just told me, she was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this guitar. And I was like, shit, okay, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, you know, we get talking, and she was kind of on the fence about it, and she was playing the natural one, and she actually liked the neck on the natural finish one more, but she liked the finish and the aesthetic of this one more. So she was kind of torn between the two. And we got talking with one of the ladies working at the shop, and she was like, I think I'm gonna buy this. And I was also like, I think I'm gonna buy one of these too. I was like, whichever one you don't end up picking, I'll probably end up buying, even though I was like out for this one. And the woman who was choosing between the two guitars was like, I guess, like, you know, if you like that one more, you can take it. And then I felt like an asshole. I was like, I'm not gonna take the guitar that you want to buy from you, you know, like, absolutely take it, like, please, it's yours. And she ended up like insisting that she's like, I really don't care, whichever one you want, just pick. So the woman working at the shop was like, here, let's flip a coin, how about that? So we flipped a quarter, and it was like, whoever gets, you know, if you call heads or tails, you get the natural finish guitar. And 50-50 chance she got it. She got the natural guitar. That was it. It was done. This one was mine. And then right before I pulled the trigger on it, I like had like existential dread. I was like, I don't need another guitar. You're making a mistake. You're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be buying more gear. You have enough. And I was like, I'll be right back. So I went around the corner, got a cup of coffee, and fully talked myself out of buying it. I was like, you don't need it. You have enough guitars. Like, there'll be another one, whatever, you know. And I was like, shit, okay, I'm just going to go home. So I'm walking past the shop, and it's like, someone kicked me in the nuts. It was just like, go back inside. So I went back inside, played it one more time, and immediately was like, fuck it, I need to buy it right now. Like, boom, paid for it, done. Best decision of my freaking life. I don't know if anyone else has been feeling like this, but I have not been stoked on guitar lately. I've been feeling very uninspired and very unmotivated when it comes to practicing and just playing. I'd say for like a year or so now, which has really been a big bummer, because guitar is like the whole reason I live, you know, I love it. Last night I sat down and played this guitar for like 5 hours, and it was the first time that I've sat down and just enjoyed just completely getting lost in an instrument and just in the art of playing guitar. It's the first time in like a year or two that I've done that. So it was a really special experience that I got to share with this instrument, and I still feel that way about it. It makes me play so differently, and it feels so differently, and it makes me respond and makes my technique so different. It's just a really special guitar, and you absolutely have to hear it. So I'm going to take you through kind of every iteration of the tone. So we'll hear just the electric pickup, we'll hear the electric pickup with effects, we'll hear the piezo, we hear both of those together, we'll hear it mic'd acoustically, maybe we'll do all three together, and you'll hear really just how many different freaking life forms this thing can take. If you're ever in LA, absolutely go check out that shop. It's freaking amazing. Here we go.